Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we are really getting into it, strapping in for a pretty intense ride into psychological suspense. We're talking Freida McFadden's novel, The Crash.
Yeah, absolutely. We've spent some time digging into the source material around this one. We've got the blueprint of the setup, the characters, and all those layers of manipulation that McFadden is just so known for.
Right. And our mission today really is just to map out the big twists, the tension points for you, without obviously giving away the final reveal. We want you to get a good sense of the story, the central dilemma, and kind of see where it fits in her whole collection.
And we should probably start right at the heart of it with Tegan Warner.
Mm-hmm.
The sources really paint this picture of intense vulnerability from page one. She's 23, 8 months pregnant, struggling financially.
Yeah, really struggling.
It's that kind of fragile state that's just, perfect for kicking off a thriller like this.
Oh, definitely. When a character starts out that exposed, financially, physically, the stakes just skyrocket immediately. And that vulnerability, it gets exploited almost right away with this deceptive offer.
Exactly. The first big conflict is around the baby's father. He's this wealthy businessman, Simon. And he's trying to basically control the whole situation with an agreement. Offers Keegan what the sources call a hefty settlement.
Right, the classic NDA.
In exchange for total silence.
Hush money, basically.
Yeah.
Trying to make Tegan and the baby disappear from his, privileged life. And it's all handled by his lawyer, Jackson.
Yeah, and Jackson's role is really interesting here. The sources highlights this as key to the early manipulation. He's the guy delivering the bad news, the paperwork, but he also does these little things.
Mm-hmm.
Brings Tegan food, slips her some extra cash. It creates this ambiguity. Is he being genuinely kind? Or is it just part of the job, part of the strategy?
It definitely muddies the waters. It messes with Tegan's head, and ours too, reading it. Like, why is Jackson doing this? Is it real kindness or just, a tactic to keep her calm until she signs?
I lean towards tactic, personally.
Yeah.
But it really hammers home that theme of misplaced trust. Keegan's so isolated, so desperate. Even a small, maybe manipulative gesture feels like help.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, her own brother is pushing her to sign.
Right. He thinks it's the only way to secure the baby's future. The pressure is immense.
Huge pressure.
Mm.
But just as she's about to sign, that whole foundation just shatters.
This is the pivot point, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Right before she signs, she gets this powerful sensory trigger. She smells Simon's cologne, just a faint whiff.
Wow.
And the sources really emphasize this. That simple smell unlocks this flood, this horrific rush of repressed memories.
That's such a clever device, using scent like that. So visceral. What does she remember? What's the revelation?
It changes everything. She realizes the night she conceived,
Yeah.
the night she always remembered as just like a regrettable, drunken one-night stand,
Yeah.
was actually rape. She'd been drugged. So suddenly, it's not about money or an NDA anymore. It's about assault, trauma, justice.
Oh my God. That's explosive. So what does she do? I mean, faced with that level of betrayal, that trauma.
It's her fury. She kicks Simon and Jackson right out of her apartment, threatens to go public, tell everyone.
Good for her.
But then reality hits. She realizes how powerful Simon is, the resources he has. She decides she needs to get away fast. Plans to flee the city, go stay with her brother at his ski lodge for a bit, just get some space.
But she's basically running from one danger straight into another, isn't she, without even knowing it?
Exactly. The whole setting shifts dramatically. Now she's driving through rural Maine, 8 months pregnant, hurt, emotionally reeling, and straight into this massive blizzard.
The isolation's dialed up to 11. Perfect thriller territory. That external entrapment.
Yeah, the weather itself becomes this huge antagonist. And then disaster. She crashes her car, breaks her leg, gets pinned to a tree. Just awful.
So she's alone, injured, freezing in the middle of nowhere during a whiteout. Rock bottom.
Absolutely. Her lowest point.
Yeah.
Utterly dependent. And that's when help arrives. Or seems to. This couple shows up. Hank, described as rugged, and Polly, who says she's a former nurse.
Okay.
They take her to their cabin, this really secluded place. And at first, it feels like salvation, right? Warmth, shelter, someone who knows medicine.
But we know McFadden. Sanctuary is never just sanctuary. It's always got strings attached, or worse.
It's the ultimate false sense of security. They give her help, set her leg, put a roof over her head. She has no choice but to trust them because she literally can't move. But the sources point out these immediate red flags Polly raises.
Okay, let's talk about the big one. Polly sets her up
Yeah.
in the basement. I mean, come on. A basement medical room, that's not just a red flag. That's like a giant flashing get out sign.
Right, totally. But Polly has this explanation ready. Says it was converted into a medical room for her late mother.
Ah, the plausible deniability.
Exactly. It's clever writing. It gives a logical, even sympathetic reason for a super creepy setup. So Tegan and the reader are left wondering, is this genuinely okay, or is this just paranoia kicking in because of everything else, the trauma, the isolation?
It feeds right back into that misplaced trust theme. So Tegan's there, hours turn into days because of the storm, and that initial relief starts to sour. What kind of unsettling things start happening?
It's that slow burn paranoia McFadden does so well.
Right.
Little things at first, they watch her too closely. The routines seem off. They're weirdly evasive about contacting the outside world. Tegan starts picking up on it. Their behavior becomes, as the sources say, increasingly unsettling. She starts to realize the real danger isn't the snow outside trapping her. It's the people inside. Her and her baby are in serious trouble.
So she escaped the threat from Simon and Jackson, only to end up physically trapped, held hostage by this strange couple. The danger just completely shifted gears, from like legal and financial to immediate physical peril.
And that methodical buildup, that's classic McFadden. The sources mention the novel starts a bit slow-paced, really focuses on setting the mood, Tegan's character, that sense of isolation.
Right, laying the groundwork.
Exactly. But it pays off big time when the tension starts escalating, especially in the third act.
And we, the readers, get a bit of an inside track because the story isn't just told from Tegan's perspective, right? It switches.
Yeah, mainly between Tegan and Polly, which gives us that multifaceted view, as the sources put it. We see things, understand the undercurrents, maybe a bit sooner than Tegan does trapped down there.
That dual perspective is crucial then. It kind of prepares you for complexity, knowing there's more going on than Tegan sees.
Totally. And speaking of complexity, this is where McFadden drops the bombs. The sources confirm, in her typical style, the biggest twists land right near the end. Two main ones that just flip the whole story.
Okay, let's touch on the first big one carefully. The crash itself. Turns out, not random, not just bad luck in a blizzard.
Nope. The sources say it was part of a chillingly well-orchestrated plan. And the real shock is who orchestrated it.
And finding that out must just force you to rethink everything that came before.
Absolutely. You immediately connect the danger in the cabin back to the betrayals at the start. It creates this awful closed loop of manipulation. The threat wasn't just random people in the woods. It was connected to her past all along.
Wow, okay. And then there's the twist about Hank and Polly themselves. This is where it gets morally murky, isn't it?
Deeply murky. This final reveal just throws all your assumptions out the window. We find out why they did what they did, and suddenly you're left really questioning things. Do they deserve straight-up punishment? Or is there room for pity, given their own circumstances?
That's where the genre really shines, I think. Blending survival, desperation, motherhood, maybe. It forces you to look beyond just good guys and bad guys. McFadden doesn't just give us pure evil. She gives us characters whose actions are horrifying, but maybe stem from something complicated, something relatable even.
Yeah, it makes you ask, is the story compelling just because Tegan's the victim we root for? Or is it also because Hank and Polly are such, well, fascinating, morally complex antagonists? When you factor in desperation, survival instincts, judging their actions becomes way harder. It really speaks to the psychological depth.
So, for people who follow Freida McFadden, who've read a lot of her stuff, where does the crash sit in her overall body of work? What should fans expect?
Well, the consensus from the sources seems to be that The Crash is definitely a solid, suspenseful read. It's got that focused paranoia, 384 pages of pretty intense pressure, but maybe slightly tamer than some of her biggest hits.
Tamer how? Like the final twist isn't quite as jaw-dropping.
Sort of, yeah. If you're chasing that absolutely mind-bending, wait, what just happened, kind of ending, the sources point to a couple others. Never Lie gets mentioned a lot for a finale that apparently just sticks with you, makes you question everything.
Okay.
And The Perfect Son is highlighted too, for a twist that's described as hitting like a gut punch, maybe more emotionally heavy.
Gotcha. That's really useful context for fans. So you're getting a dark story, lots of isolation, paranoia, survival themes, but maybe manage expectations slightly on the absolute shock value compared to, say, Never Lie.
Right.
So what about newcomers? If someone hasn't read McFadden before and wants that signature experience, where should they start?
For that, the sources usually recommend starting with Never Lie, The Locked Door, The Teacher, or maybe The Boyfriend. Any of those are apparently great introductions to her style, her pacing, and those shocking final reveals she's famous for.
Fantastic. Okay, so ultimately, The Crash sounds like it delivers a really potent mix. You've got the initial betrayal, Tegan's backstory with Simon, fused with this terrifying abduction, psychological games, and survival in that cabin with Hank and Polly.
Yeah, it's a focused, pretty intense read. Promises to keep you guessing right through that blizzard. And it definitely delivers on tension, complex motives, and a plot that leaves you thinking about who the real villain actually is. Hashtag outro.
All right, that wraps up our deep dive into the chilling setup and the secrets within the crash. We've navigated Tegan's escape, the blizzard, that terrifying false sanctuary with Hank and Polly.
And since that big twist with Hank and Polly really does leave you questioning punishment versus pity, we wanted to leave you with something to think about. When a thriller like this reveals complex motives behind awful actions, does understanding the why change how you judge the what? Especially when themes like motherhood or survival are involved, does that blurred morality make a character more compelling for you as a reader? Or just more disturbing?
It's a great question. That kind of defines the whole genre, doesn't it? Something to chew on while you decide if you want to brave that isolated cabin yourself. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
We'll catch you next time.